Game over. Game over. Johnny.
You're gonna need a big approach.
So serious.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the InSession Film Podcast.
Welcome to episode 663 for November 18th, 2025, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Brendan Cassidy.
Hey, thanks for joining us this week, everybody, as we prepare ourselves to be wicked going into the weekend.
We're always wicked on this podcast.
Yeah, we try to be wicked bunch here, Brendan and I. That's what we call ourselves, the Wicked Bunch.
That's a good podcast name.
Yeah.
Are we officially rebranding ourselves?
We could. Yeah, we could. That could be the subheader in InSession Film Podcast, the Wicked Bunch.
The Wicked Bunch. I love it.
I don't
kind
know
of
if that
sounds
works,
kind of sounds like a musical extension of the Wild Bunch or something like that.
I will say this. Maybe that doesn't work, but one thing that I would say about our show, Brendan, is that we do make for a great conversational duet.
That is a very, very good transition, my friend.
Thank you.
Did you just come up with that one? Or
on the
was
spot, yeah. That was on the
wow.
spot.
I love you, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I knew you would like that one.
That was good.
Thank you. Thank you. That is, as Brendan noted, a transition into what our top 5 this week is going to be, using Wicked as inspiration. We're going to delve into our top 5 musical duets in film. And I look forward to getting into that conversation in the back half of the show. Before we do, a couple of things. I do want to note up front, we have 2 reviews, maybe 3 this week. We were hoping to have a review of Predator Badlands last week, but the scheduling got delayed, so it will hopefully come out later this week, but we shall see. It is on the way. It is in the works. However, Brendan and I, we do have 2 reviews out right now. The first is a pretty lengthy but thorough and quite emotional review of Chloe Zhao's Hamnet. That was a lot of fun. And I have to admit, Brendan, when I saw your tweet when that show went out, I literally LOL'd. Like, I quite died.
A different form of tears with that one.
It was very good.
Hey, keeping it direct, just keeping it on point.
Deeply love it. Yes. So please go and check that review out. And then we also get into Richard Linklater's second film of the year. Not just second film of the year, but second film within the last month or so.
Yeah.
As his new film is out on Netflix right now. It is called Nouvelle Vague. And it is, of course, a retelling, a reimagination of Godard making the French New Wave film Breathless. And we get into that one as well. So a couple of really great reviews to kick off the week. There will be a new Women in Session at the end of the week and a new Chasing the Gold as well. Shadon and Erica are back at it once again, and they're going to have some wicked conversations. They're going to be talking about Frankenstein and crafts as well, as award season is ramping up in some big ways. So be on the lookout for all of that. Okay. First, as we've been doing, let's talk a little Stingray. New update. Big update this week. Big update.
We should probably set the stage a little bit again, JD, for those who might be tuning in for the first time. They might think we're talking about fish or something like that.
They could be. Yeah, they might. Like, he went to a zoo, saw some stingrays. Look, I can understand that. Yes, for context, this is something that I brought up a few weeks ago. If you have a Samsung television, you absolutely have to check out this channel that I have found. If you don't have a Samsung television, Black Friday is on the horizon. I highly recommend substituting.
We are not sponsored by Samsung TV.
We are not. This is free promotion. But
Samsung, if you're listening, help us out.
Yeah, throw us a couple bucks. If you get a Samsung TV, there is Samsung television built in, and there are hundreds, literally hundreds of channels that just come with the TV, separate from whatever cable you may get, YouTube TV, etc. One of these channels is called Stingray Movie Music. And all they do all day long is play, you guessed it, movie music, scores, soundtrack music, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but not in the way y'all think.
It's more than just the classics. Let's just say that.
Let's just say the term deep cuts have never been more appropriate.
Yes, there have been a lot of deep cuts. Now, there's one track specifically that I want to highlight as we get into this week's update. But I just want to note that I once again saw The Fabelmans earlier this week, which is appropriate given that I feel like The Fabelmans has been brought up a couple of times in the last few weeks. We brought it up as a comp to Hamnet.
It's been kind of a weird theme. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit during our sentimental value review as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was serendipitous. I thought that was really great. However,
I think that movie is slowly becoming a classic.
It is. Oh, yeah, I think it is one of the best films of the decade to this point. And it just keeps lingering in my mind more and more as I sit on it.
I think that's a fair assessment, man.
I do want to focus on this one track. Now, here's what's interesting, is that the track that I'm going to talk about here, it is not from a classic movie. It's not from an indie film or what we could classify as a cinephilistic film. It's not Arrival. It's not La La Land. It's not Nebraska or Calvary or Z for Zachariah even, which have been some of the deep cuts we've already talked about.
I still think that's incredible. Z for Zachariah playing on this channel is one of the funniest things I've heard.
I've seen it at least 3 times. Yeah,
at least 3 times.
At least 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. They
fascinating.
Samsung clearly did steal your playlist from Spotify.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. So it's not from an art film or an indie film. It's not a classic. It is from a blockbuster. However, it's not from a highly regarded blockbuster.
I was going to say, this is arguably a pretty bad movie you're referencing here.
Is it that in and of itself is interesting because I've seen that actually a couple of different times. But primarily I want to focus on this one film and this one track. Because admittedly, I've only seen the film twice.
Okay.
Once when it first came out. The second time was during the pandemic. You remember that? March 2020, when we were all losing our minds.
That's almost 6 years ago.
It's wild. It's wild. But I do remember early pandemic. One of the first things I did with Sam, who was 4.5 at the time. So he was primed to really watch these films for the first time. I am, of course, speaking of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Yeah. Great trilogy.
Okay. That initial trilogy, excellent. One of the best trilogies, genuinely one of the best trilogies, I think, of the last 30, 40 years. It's
I would agree.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
I would agree.
Which, by the way, this isn't on my list to talk about on this week's show. Gore Verbinski, though, coming back next year, first time in about a decade. I'm excited. I'm deeply excited.
That trailer looks wild.
It does. It does. I am so happy to have a little gore back in my life. I could not wait for that.
We like a little gore.
We like a little gore, yes. So that Pirates trilogy, those first 3 films, really, really fantastic. However, I am not here to talk about those first 3 movies. We are here to talk about Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
The 5th one.
The 5th one. This is the 5th movie. And let's be honest, it's not great by any stretch of the imagination.
It's better than the 4th one.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I do appreciate it more than the fourth film.
Well-
Maybe by quite a bit, actually.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there's a big reason why it's better than the fourth one. And I think you're about to get into it.
Well, yes. And I absolutely do want to talk about, well, there's a couple of reasons. One, there is the score by Jeff Zanelli. And because we are talking about Stingray movie music, obviously all roads here are leading to Zanelli's score here.
Yeah.
Which, by extension, we're talking about Hans Zimmer, right? Because a lot of that film, a lot of the score by Zanelli is regurgitating many of those great Hans Zimmer themes from that initial trilogy.
Correct.
So yes, that is obviously a big part of this conversation. However, there is another element to this as well. The great Jeffrey Rush. I have talked about
Barbossa,
this forever. I want to reiterate again for any new listeners out there, or even potentially longtime listeners that have missed this in the past, but I genuinely think he should have won an Oscar for his role as Barbossa. It is so good.
Now, okay, not to get too
So good.
sidetracked here, but which one of the movies? Which one do you think?
All of them? All of them. I don't know.
I guess maybe it should have been kind of like how they treated the Lord of the Rings and just give it to the third one as an overarching win.
Yes.
So just give it to him for At World's End or something.
That's a great point because honestly, I think he is fan-freaking-tastic in that third film, by the way. So on its own terms, I would have been happy with it. But at the same time, to your point, yes, collectively it would have been an award for his performance for all three of those films, hands down.
Yeah, and he's in the second one for 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Which one of the greatest cameos ever, by the way. Just so nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
my ship?
So good. And anytime you bring up this character, I do think, maybe to your point about his performance in the third film, I think of that moment when they're all on the ship there at the end and there's that huge fight and they want to get married and he's just like,
He's officiating the wedding.
At the moment. It's just so good.
Just kiss.
It's just so good. Anyway, I love him. He is, of course, back in Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah.
And say what you will about the movie, I don't think it's better than any of the first three.
Agreed.
But to your point, I think it's better than the fourth film. And I think a big part of it is, again, the score, and it is Jeffrey Rush. It is Barbossa, and what Barbossa specifically brings to this movie. Now, I don't want to get into a review of it and go through all the plot synopsis and the details. Perhaps some spoilers here for Dead Men Tell No Tales. Although I'm not sure anyone listening to this who would be offended by me giving away details about the ending of that movie. But just in case, maybe you haven't seen it and it was your plan to watch it this week. I don't want to spoil it for you, so a heads up. But you get to the ending of that film, and you want to talk about pirate puns, and there have been plenty in these movies. But there is one that always sticks out to me of this franchise.
Yeah.
Because again, you get to the end of Dead Men Tell No Tales. And what we find out is that Barbossa has a daughter.
Yeah.
There is that reveal at the end of the film. At least the audience is aware. The characters are not, they don't necessarily have that information.
Right.
So you get to that moment at the end, and I forget the character's name. I'm going to have to look it up.
The actual
name of the daughter.
his actual daughter. I'm trying to look it up for you right now.
Okay. Brendan will look it up. The daughter
Karina.
character. Karina. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, it's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
So Karina has this great moment with Barbossa. She doesn't know that he is her father. But what we do find out early on is that she's been seeking her father essentially her whole life. That is much of her journey throughout that film is, I'm trying to find my father. So that is established early on. What's also interesting, and sorry, I'm getting into some nerdy details here, but this all happened this week, by the way, because of Stingray. I'm going to get back to that here in a moment. So early on in the film, with Barbossa, the name of Barbossa's ship, the meaning of it translates to treasure. And that is important because I think that is really fun irony and symbolism and foreshadowing to this moment that we get at the end of the film when Karina looks up at Barbossa and she says to him, "What am I to you?" And there's this great beat with Zanelli's score just buzzing in the background where the camera lingers on Jeffrey Rush and he just says treasure. And I'm telling you, I was gobsmacked by the moment because I did not expect the film to deliver. Although in hindsight, I should have known better because it's Jeffrey Rush and he's so freaking good as this character. And he delivers that line like he's going for the goddamn Oscar.
He delivers this line like he's about to retire from acting or something like that. It's
like this is the last thing I'm going to ever say in film ever.
This is a great topic for a future top 5, JD. Oscar caliber moments in horrible movies.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's a rich topic for sure.
Absolutely.
And this is chief among the examples.
Well, this is number 1. This is going to inspire the list. It's going to be called the Barbossa Treasure Top 5.
It is so good the way he delivers that line. It is a genuinely moving, poignant moment that the film really doesn't deserve, but Jeffrey Rush is just so good.
Absolutely.
So despite how tacky the pirate pun might be there, he delivers that line with such genuine sincerity that the emotion is felt. And it's incredible. And I've always loved it. I've talked about that moment for years now. Mm-hmm. The reason I bring it up here again, circling it back to Stingray. So I hear this track, one of the tracks from this film, it plays on Stingray. And again, for context, for those that haven't been paying attention or that haven't listened the last few weeks, when Stingray plays one of these tracks, it's overlaid with a bunch of clips from the movie.
Yeah.
And I joked initially a few weeks ago that you get caught up in the moment, like a montage, like when the Oscars do these montages, and as cinephiles, we get all ramped up and hyped up for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you forget, like, this is really exciting. Oh, I forget that this is actually not a great movie, but you get so hyped up because
it tricks you.
The music in the clip. Yeah, a little bit of a tricky situation there. Anyway, I'm watching the clips. I'm listening to this track. The name of the track, by the way, is My Name is Barbossa. That is important to what I'm about to bring up here next. So this track comes immediately after that moment between Barbossa and his daughter.
Yeah.
And again, spoilers, once he says treasure, he sacrifices himself so that way she could go on and live her life. So he dies in that moment. And the name of the track, by the way, the name of the track that is scored during that moment is appropriately titled Treasure.
Yep.
It's great. It's very good. Now, again, that's not the score Stingray plays, though. That's not the track. It's the next one. My Name is Barbossa, which is honestly one of the very best tracks in all of Pirates of the Caribbean. And here's why. It is regurgitating Hans Zimmer at this point. This is where Zimmer comes back in a big way here.
Right.
Because again, and I know many of you probably haven't seen this film in a while, but you get to the ending of that film, it's starting to wrap things up. And what do we get at the end of the film? Do you remember the ending to this film, Brendan?
Vaguely. I've only seen it once.
Okay. So
But the only thing I remember from this movie are two things. There's an opening chase involving Jack Sparrow, which is pretty exciting, and then it's Barbossa's death. That's really all I remember of this movie.
Yeah, that's okay. That's totally fair. Which that's why I ask. I don't assume that anyone would remember.
And I just remember for those two reasons, I like it more than On Stranger Tides.
Yes. So you get this track where Will and Elizabeth come back. They cameo here, right?
Yeah.
Because the other character here is not Karina, Henry.
Yeah.
Henry Turner, we come to find out, is the son of Will and Elizabeth, right?
Right.
So Will comes back and he greets his son for the first time. You know, probably since he was a baby, is what it infers there.
Sure.
And that in and of itself is a great moment. And behind this moment between Will and his son is a lot of the Hans Zimmer stuff that we've known and loved.
For sure.
And then immediately after they embrace, you get Will and Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to circle back to a conversation we had a few weeks ago because I went up to Michigan with my son and, this was during the summer. Excuse me. I'm conflating stories here. And during the summertime, I took my kids and my wife to Michigan. On the plane ride up there, if you recall, Brendan, I revisited the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And on the next show, after I got back, I came on here and I sang the heavy praises of not just the film, but I think that is genuinely one of Hans Zimmer's best scores that just isn't talked about. People talk about Pirates broadly, and it is great. Obviously, for many, many reasons we could spend all day here talking about.
Right.
But I think that third film, because not only do you get that main Pirates theme that everyone loves, but the way it also emphasizes and heightens and blossoms that love theme between Will and Elizabeth is so good. That theme on its own terms, again, is arguably a top 10 Hans Zimmer track.
Yeah.
Maybe top 5. Like, it is that good. It is so good. I would argue anyway. I think it is phenomenal. And I think it gets lost in the conversation, that love theme between those two. So, Dead Men Tell No Tales, they cameo at the end. Will and Elizabeth meet. And what do we hear? That love theme from the third Pirates film.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's so good. And to me, it helps make that moment. Again, what could ultimately feel like shoehorn cameos.
Oh, it's fan service, but like
it's fan service that I just love those characters. I'm sorry. I do.
There's a difference between fan service, and then there's a difference between that and like I'm a fan service me, right?
Yes.
like this kind of fits into the latter, I guess.
Yes. And it's all at the end. It's not like Will and Elizabeth are just interwoven into this film lazily.
Oh, no. Like, they showed up on set for 5 minutes and went home with a paycheck.
Exactly. All of that is at the end and in the post-credit scene. So, like, this track, and again, why I understand why Stingray would choose this track is because it has all of those classic pirate themes that you love.
Yeah.
The only thing that it leaves out is that main Pirates theme, which immediately follows this track because that's what leads to the end credits. So My Name is Barbosa. It's the end of the film. We're getting the closure. We're getting the cameos, final credits, main pirate theme, end of movie.
Right.
Okay. Now, circling all of this together, or bringing everything together here. What I find very interesting about this track is the name of it. Because what we hear are those main pirate cues, and again, more specifically, that love theme. And I think it's actually kind of brilliant. And I don't know whose idea this was. If it was Joachim Roning, who directed this film, if it was Zanelli, if it was Hans Zimmer, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was a happy accident, and maybe that could possibly be the right answer here. But what I love about this track, again, you get those love themes, but the name of it, I think, is brilliant, because it's not, the name of the track should have been titled Love Theme, or Will Returns, or Will and Elizabeth's Reunion. That's what the name of this track should have been titled. Or Will meets his son, or again, the reunion, some combination of that. That's what the track should have been titled. But it's not. The name of this track is My Name is Barbosa. My Name is Barbosa. It is a track that is all about love and family and reunion, but in the hindsight, or in the aftermath, of Barbosa's death, where he finally got a chance to indulge in those things with his daughter for a brief moment right before he died. I think, again, maybe happy accident, that is brilliant and gorgeous.
I don't think that's a happy accident. That seems very predetermined to me.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had never made that connection before.
Isn't Jeff Zanelli one of those proteges of
I think he is a Zimmer dude.
Yeah, I think he's a Zimmer guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And him and Zimmer probably worked that out, is my guess there.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, consulting happening there between Zanelli and Zimmer.
It can't be an accident, especially when this track plays in the aftermath of his death, of Barbosa's death.
Yeah.
It's not when he dies. It's in the aftermath, when that love theme, when that family reunion, when that connection of love and family and togetherness, that's what we're seeing on screen. And again, they don't title it based off of what we're seeing on screen like everything else that is listed here.
Yeah.
No, it is titled My Name is Barbosa, as suggesting, remember me. This is really what my legacy is.
Right.
For a movie that ultimately isn't all that great, I find that to maybe be the best element of it. Like, that is genuinely brilliant.
It basically becomes a Barbosa movie for the final act.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you realize that in some ways the final act of Dead Men Tell No Tales kind of recontextualizes the entire arc of Barbosa over the course of 5 movies.
Yeah. So all of that to say, I saw that track and I went down a rabbit hole. Like, I had all of these thoughts circulating.
Here is Stingray inspiring a new critical mindset.
Like, I told you what, like, I listened to the track. I watched the whole thing play out on Stingray. I immediately went to YouTube. I watched the treasure moment. I listened to the score. I, of course, wanted to relish in that Jeffrey Rush line delivery. And then I immediately went to the ending.
Yeah.
I rewatched that scene as well. I did all of that immediately because I was so hooked and inspired. And again, I just urge everyone, if nothing else, you don't have to go watch that movie or watch the clips if you don't want to. Just listen to that track. Find it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
listen to that track. My Name is Barbosa. It is gorgeous. It is stunning. And again, it's full of that Will and Elizabeth love theme. And I love how that film applies that love theme to Barbosa and his daughter as well. Incredible.
So 5% of this movie is great.
So that's ultimately what we're boiling down here. Like, it's at least 5% great.
That 5% makes it better than On Stranger Tides. It's weird because it is actually one of the best moments of the entire 5-film franchise.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Like, it really speaks to the power of what cinema can do, even in just a vacuum.
in just a moment. It's like, let's try to save this sinking ship. No pun intended.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, that was my Stingray moment this last week. I went down the Pirates rabbit hole.
I cannot wait to see what Stingray brings you next week.
Yeah. And I listened to that track, My Name is Barbosa. I listened to it like 3, 4, 5 times in a row. And I geeked out. And the first time I actually had to leave my kids in the living room, I actually walked into this space here because I was having an emotional reaction to it. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And again, that's when I started to make those Barbosa connections. And I was floored. Sometimes you find little gems like that.
In movies that really aren't gems, but they have gem moments? Gemini?
Gem
I don't know.
moments? Yeah,
I
gem
can't think of the word for that.
Yeah. So anyway, Stingray movie music. You got to check it out. You got to find it somehow. It is absolutely worth your time. I promise you.
In one day, you may hear Calvary, Z for Zachariah, and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I know, right? Quite the eclectic mix you get there.
Yeah.
And also some of, like, I've seen some tracks, some scores for films that we may talk about in the top 5 segment as well.
Well, how about that?
Reveal those yet.
Another great segue.
Another great segue. Before we get to the top 5, though, I want to spend a little time here. And I hate to regurgitate a conversation that we've had on this show countless times already, but it's worth having again because it is getting worse. It is getting worse and worse and worse. And look, we come on here and we talk about how all of these major studios, they are mining IP like no tomorrow. And they don't care about quality. All they care about is making that money. And as long as the remakes and the reboots and the sequels are making money, they're just going to continue to do it. So we get a trailer for this quote unquote, and I have never used that phrase more emphatically than I am right now. Quote unquote live action.
That's an accurate statement right there.
Quote unquote live action film next year that we're getting for Moana. We get the teaser for it. I don't necessarily want to steal Brendan's thunder because I think the way he articulates it is really quite apt. But I don't know if I have seen a worse quote unquote adaptation from animation to live action. This is on its way to being historically terrible.
Well, I kind of hope it is historically terrible because maybe that means they'll stop.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It could be historically terrible, but also make $1 billion.
That's like
that. And that's why we're having the conversation, because that's
the thing that scares me the most. That's the thing that scares pretty much every cinephile. Here's what I will say about the majority of every trailer that we've gotten for an upcoming live action remake, mostly for Disney. I always say to myself, I look at this, whatever the trailer is, even dating back to movies like Mulan or something like that, where I think, okay, this looks like a cash grab, but it at least looks like Disney is making a movie. Like, I believe that this is Disney's attempt at making something.
Yeah.
For the first time, after watching one of their trailers, my first thought was, I don't think this is real. And that was my reaction to this Moana trailer. It doesn't look real. This genuinely looks like AI. Yeah. And I am in a bit of a depression right now because of this.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree. It looks animated. It doesn't even look like it's live action. And to your point, not only does it look animated, it looks like AI slop. It doesn't even look like good animation that we would see from Disney animated studios. This looks like it's from a whole new arm of Disney, one that is not to our knowledge public at all, but it's probably titled Disney AI. Yeah. That is probably the arm that is making this movie, because I do not believe that Disney Studios or Disney Animated Studios, I don't think they had anything to do with this whatsoever. You cannot convince me that they had anything to do with this. But some hidden subdivision, Disney AI, that again probably isn't public yet, that they will reveal as we get closer to the release of this film.
Yeah.
They're responsible for this. Because I agree with you. There's no other explanation. It looks like AI slop. It looks so bad. So bad.
It seems disingenuous to say that there are actors in this movie or there's a director for this one. It's being directed by Thomas Kail, who's most known for doing movie stage adaptations like the Hamilton one. Yeah. So
and Grease, okay.
I mean, if anything, now it just seems like he was brought on as director as a form of marketing or stunt casting, if you will, because this is someone that does have musical experience in some way. So let's get that person that is somehow tied to Hamilton, because then we can sell the movie that way. That's really why he's here.
Yeah. I mean, because it looks like it's shot for shot, the animated film.
That's part of it. I'm at a point now where I've just kind of learned to accept that these Disney live action remakes are mostly going to be shot for shot. I mean, the How to Train Your Dragon movie from earlier this year was a shot for shot remake, but that at least felt like a movie. And there was at least some passion behind that I could at least somewhat forgive. The problem here is that this doesn't even look like a real movie. It looks like ChatGPT made a version of this.
That's a really great comp. I didn't love the remake to How to Train Your Dragon, but I do agree with you that there was still a level of passion. There was still a level of emotionality to it. It doesn't come close to the heights of its animated predecessor, but it at least looks and feels like a real movie. They did put effort into it. There was an attempt at the very least, even if their hands were tied a little bit.
Right.
This doesn't seem to have any of that at all. This looks lazy. This looks like they did it for as cheap as possible. And boy, does it show in this teaser. Now, it's just a teaser. Who knows, by next summer, which I believe is when this comes out.
Yeah. Can you believe it comes out in 2026, which is 10 years after that first Moana?
Crazy. Yeah.
That does not feel like 10 years old right now.
No. I mean, that's not too far off. How to Train Your Dragon was 2010? So about 15 years.
Yeah.
In between there. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a remake, at least pretend to care. They're not even pretending to care. And that is the problem I have with where this is going. It's obviously a cash grab. Okay. They're a greedy corporation. Nothing new there.
Right.
But at the beginning of this, you think about Cinderella now. Cinderella is a goddamn miracle. That film might as well be Citizen Kane comparatively. It is.
I don't know. I don't know if I would think of that as a great movie because of what it has to be compared with now, or was it always good?
Well, I think it was always good.
Yeah.
But now I think it's Citizen Kane because of what it's compared to.
It was always good because it was always a movie, and now it has become great retroactively.
Exactly. Crazy. So and to think that back then we're like, okay, this was cute. It was a nice little remake. It's Kenneth Branagh, bringing his Shakespearean element to it. And at the time, while I thought it was quite good, I never looked at it as this grand masterpiece that I might have to look at it now, because it has increasingly gotten worse and worse and worse. And are we getting toward the end of are we at the end of Hollywood? I don't think it's the end of movies, because Hollywood is its own machine. And there are clearly a lot of great movies that we see each and every year outside of that specific system. But my goodness, mainstream Hollywood, and I guess I should clarify mainstream Disney. Warner Brothers had a great year, obviously.
Warner Brothers did,
and I'm
but
being a little facetious here. But this looks like this almost suggests, again, I understand I'm being facetious here, but I watched this and my immediate thought is this is the beginning of the end.
Well, I think you're onto something about the end of movies in a way, at least Disney movies owned by the Disney company as a parent company, because I think there is now a big distinction between what, let's say, Warner Brothers is doing. They're making movies. Disney is clearly making content. They're in the content business now. This there's content and there's movies. The only similarity between them now is that they just both happen to be played in movie theaters.
Yeah. They should forget putting this film in theaters because, to your point, the way they have rendered this, they should just live stream it on TikTok.
That's
forget
what it looks
the theaters.
Like. Yeah.
Just live stream this shit on TikTok and call it a day.
Yeah.
Because that's clearly what you've made this for.
Yeah.
You did not make this for people to go enjoy in a theater. You clearly did not. This looks like AI garbage. So just live stream the shit on TikTok and be done with it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And you couple that with the fact that Sony has been lost for years. They're other than the animation, right? The animation side has been great, but
yeah, that's been creative.
Their mainstream live action movies have just been a disaster. Warner Brothers had a great year, but they're getting ready to sell their shit off to Saudi Arabia, which is a whole other can of worms. So, I mean, does it not smell like the beginning of the end? With the way Disney is going, with Saudi Arabia now essentially going to own all of the studios?
2025, the year that the movies ended.
It's bleak.
It's pretty bleak.
It's bleak. And that I don't mean facetiously. It might not be the end of movies, but the outlook doesn't. It's hard to be hopeful.
What's even more bleak about all of this is that if you look at the box office numbers over the course of 2025, the average run rate for each weekend this year has not been much better in other years post-pandemic. Even though we've had a few monetary hits here, it's not enough to suggest that people are interested in going back to the movies again. And that's where I think the bleakness screams even louder. There's no one there to even back it up, to clamor for a change. And that's a sad thought.
Yeah, it's not looking too great. I'm a little concerned as to where things are going to go. But it just makes me all the more grateful for the Hamnets of the world, the Aftersons of the world, the great international releases we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, pretty soon movies are only going to be subjugated to foreign cinema.
Yeah, foreign cinema will stay alive. Mubi is doing the Lord's work. A24, I know, has been perhaps more polarizing, but at least they're not wholly reliant on the traditional Hollywood system. And they still churn out a lot of great movies as well. Neon, also doing the Lord's work.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, I am more and more and more grateful for those companies that is keeping the art form alive. I
just think of the days when we were kids, you and I specifically, our generation, and we thought of the term Disney as synonymous with magical, right?
Yeah.
There was something almost like transcendent about what it meant to be a Disney property.
Yeah.
It's not the case anymore.
No, it's not. And I think what's interesting, I live in the South Florida, and Disney World is just down the road, and my family is obsessed, so I'm there somewhat often.
Sure.
And I will say, to your point, especially when you go for the first time, and I didn't grow up with such luxury. I barely went on vacation at all, let alone going to Disney. So I didn't go to Disney World until I was an adult. And that first time, or those first couple of times, even as an adult, to your point, you grow up with Disney and associating it with magic. So when you walk in for the first time, that nostalgia does overwhelm you. And you do feel that sense of magic. You do become 4 years old all over again. So I do think there's credence to what you're talking about there. And I do hate that my son's generation, and not just Sam, but especially Andrew, who is on the verge of watching movies very soon. I'm hoping next year we'll be able to get him to the theater for the first time. If not within the next couple of years, for sure.
Yeah.
They won't have any understanding of what any of that means in relation to Disney. That'll be long gone. Bygone era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that just made me sad.
It is sad. Okay, well, let's move on to a happier topic.
Okay. Let's get a little sing-songy here.
Hey, Brendan, we're about to talk about our top 5 musical duets in movies. So it's only appropriate that we are here to talk about Amazon Music Unlimited, where you can listen to a lot of said musical duets, should you choose to.
I can tell you right now, I found a lot of my musical duets that I'm going to talk about on Amazon Music Unlimited. It allowed me to do some of my research because as a premium music subscription service, they feature 70 million songs and thousands of expert program playlists and stations, which made doing the research for this particular topic easier than not having it. So that certainly helped.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with Amazon Music, you can listen to any song at any time, anywhere, on all of your devices, whether it's smartphone, tablet, PC, these days, your refrigerator, your cars, your trucks.
Cars, your trucks. I love that.
Your Alexas, your Echoes, no matter what it is, your device can feature Amazon Music. And it's absolutely the best because it'll personalize your list based on what you listen to. So you're going to get the songs and the artists that you want. And they have a catalog of over 70 million songs. That's a lot of songs. A lot of songs.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
You got to go and check out Amazon Music Unlimited. If you click on the link in the description, you will get 90 days for free, which is pretty cool. That's a really good deal. 90 days
a great deal.
For free. So if you like music, and who doesn't, check out some musical duets on Amazon Music. Check out the link in the description. That is getamazonmusic.com/InSessionFilm. Again, getamazonmusic.com/InSessionFilm. The link is in the description. Click on that. 90 days for free. And we thank Amazon Music for their support. All right, Brennan, I love audiobooks. I love them. I listen to them all the time.
They're very entertaining. Sometimes it's like listening to a great podcast. But for those of us that don't have as much time on our hands to just sit down and actually hold a book in our hands, sometimes the next best thing is getting something with a lot of personality added to it that's being read to us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about Audible. Audible has a gazillion titles to choose from, and I think that's the official number.
I think so. I'm counting all these zeros here. There's no actual I'm losing count of the zeros.
This goes on forever and ever. Yeah. There are so many titles to choose from any type or genre. You want your romance novels? They got it. You want sci-fi? They got it. You want education? They got it. They got business, finance, religion, whatever your thing is. They got tons and tons of books.
Music. A lot of great music books I've been reading.
Absolutely. It's the best. I love Audible. I have probably about 20 books downloaded at the current moment. Some of them I've downloaded because I've had the credit, and I just haven't started the book yet because of time. It escapes me.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, it's a
But
new
I'm
form of
excited.
library collecting.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in to what Audible has to offer. So we want to give you something really cool with Audible. If you click on the link in the description, audibletrial.com/InSessionFilm, again, the link is in the description, you will get a free audiobook, which is great. Who doesn't want a free audiobook? And also you will get a 30-day free trial. It is the absolute best. 30-day free trial and a free audiobook, audibletrial.com/InSessionFilm. That link is in the description. They have everything you want. I promise you, you're going to love it. And the books that they're really putting out now, they just get more sophisticated, and there's more bells and whistles to them. It's really quite awesome.
Yeah, they're getting very creative with what an audiobook actually can be.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So go check it out, audibletrial.com/InSessionFilm, and we thank Audible for their support. Let's talk about our top 5 musical duets in cinema. Before I toss it to you for your criteria here,
Yeah.
I'm just going to note this here because I don't have much criteria. And the reason for that is because I had such a busy weekend. And the day we are recording this, I just came home from seeing Wicked with my son Sam.
Yeah.
So I did not have as much time to prep for this top 5 as I normally do. I didn't really have the luxury to or the time to formulate any criteria, and I'm probably missing a lot. I'll be curious to hear not just what's on your list, but any honorable mentions you may have, because there's a good chance I'm missing some really good scenes, some really good duets in movies. I did my best here. I do have a top 5, but I do wonder how limited I am just given my recent schedule.
Well, I think I might be a little bit limited as well, primarily because I didn't really foresee how hard this topic was going to be.
It was challenging. That was another element of it as well.
Yeah.
I didn't have as much time to prep. And then the little prep I did do, I wasn't able to gather as much information as I usually am able to.
Yeah. In addition to my top 5, I maybe have 6 others on my list. So I only have about 11 here that I was able to come up with. And that's even loosening the criteria a little bit further than just purely musicals. So if we're getting into my criteria a little bit, I'm not only considering traditional musicals in comparison to something like Wicked, for instance. I'm also looking at some music performance movies as well.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah. And I figured you would be as well. And I'm also being a bit, I guess, loose with the term duet, because we often associate duets in movies as 2 actors singing to each other.
Yeah.
But I'm also considering other types of musical performances, such as dance or maybe even instrumentals, because a duet by definition is a performance by 2 people, most notably singers, but it doesn't have to be. A duet between 2 dancers, for instance, technically also counts.
Okay. So you got a little Channing Tatum on your list?
Well, I thought about that, but how many of his great dance routines are mostly with like 5 or 6 other people? So like, this is why this list was challenging, because there are so many examples of musicals or music performance movies in some way that include a performance of 2 people, but then more people and an ensemble join the mix. And I kind of wanted it to be solely the 2 people, right? There's at least 1, maybe 2 picks that might veer a little bit further away from that, but here's a great example of one that I saw pop up on a lot of lists that I didn't qualify, and that's Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from Mary Poppins, which is
Okay, yeah.
primarily a performance by Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. But there's
Yeah.
a whole animated ensemble behind them. So I'm like, I don't know if I can count that. And
Yeah.
every time I found myself landing on what I thought was a very good duet, there was another element to it where I thought, I don't really know if that's a duet. and that's where this got really challenging for me very quickly. So
Yeah.
this will be fun. I'm really curious to see what your list looks like.
Yeah, same. And I very much ran into that same problem where I was already low on time. I was needing to get Sam to go to Wicked, and I just didn't have the luxury of really wrestling with this. And then on top of that, it ended up being much harder than I expected it to be as far as finding quality scenes that I would want on a top 5. I do have a 5 here that I'm actually really happy with this 5. I do love all of these picks. I just wonder if there's more out there that I am overlooking. That's my biggest fear with this is
it's
that I'm just missing a lot.
I'm gonna say it right now. This is one where we may have to kind of admit defeat on a little bit. So as we post this episode, if people listening want to engage with us and let us know some of their favorite musical duets in movies that we forgot about, please let us know, because we're probably missing some really obvious ones.
For sure. Okay, with that said, what do you got at number 5?
Number 5 is my non-singing duet. I'm going to the year 1991. It's also my animated pick for my list. I'm going with Beauty and the Beast. And I'm going with...
I thought about this. I did. This was one... I'm so fascinated by this pick because I left it off because I wasn't sure if it's qualified or not.
I went back and forth because this technically involves 3 characters. If you include Mrs. Potts singing over top of this dance routine.
Yes.
But it really is about Belle and Beast and the
they are
synergy.
front and center for sure.
Yeah. And the unison of their dance is why I'm picking it here. I think if it weren't for that unison, that synergy between the two of them, that's why I had to go with it as maybe my non-singing pick, if you will. The song itself is already beautiful. It has a now iconic sweeping chandelier shot that has become kind of part of the iconography of Disney. But for me, it has always been the unison of Belle and Beast and that dance routine. I mean, the song itself, the way it couples it is certainly great. But I think in a way, even though it is 3 characters that participate in this musical number, it feels like a duet because of the synergy of that dance routine and the partnership there. So that's why I had to go with it. It's almost got this like mirroring effect between these 2 characters at how connected that they've become. And I do think it's beautiful for those reasons.
Yeah, I love that pick. That would have been on my list had I not nixed it at the last second, just because I wasn't sure if it necessarily qualified here. But I do absolutely love it.
It's a loose one.
That's a great movie.
That's honestly that's why I put it at my number 5, primarily because it is still a bit of a loose addition, if you will. There's definitely a big asterisk with this one as to why I included it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's one of the best animated scenes of all time.
It's one of the best animated movies of all time.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Yeah. And it has one of the best scenes as well. Yeah. Deeply, deeply love that moment. All right. My number 5, I'm going to a movie that I deeply love. It was polarizing when it first came out because of its awards success. But to this day, I am so grateful that it lost Best Picture because
I knew you were going to go with this
no
one.
one talks about it anymore, and I'm so happy for that. But I still love La La Land. I think it is a really, really good movie. And the scene I'm going with here is actually the City of Stars duet that we see with Sebastian and Mia while they're there at the piano. And I think what I love about this, and it's easy to go to other moments in this film where it's just the two of them. You get that great sequence of them there on the road with the city in the background. There's
A Lovely Night, I think that one's called.
Lovely Night. There's the moment of them in the magical realism that we see midway through the movie.
Yeah, which is basically this movie's version of Broadway medley.
Yes. I love those moments as well, but there's something about this moment with City of Stars, which is obviously akin to the main theme of the film in a lot of ways. And it's just the two of them. They're sitting down, singing this song. It's deceptively simple, but I love the charm of the moment. I love how it almost acts as the thesis of the film in regards to these two characters chasing their dreams, falling in love. And I think a lot of it also is the dynamic of Gosling and Stone in the moment and how fun it is and how almost like free flowing it is. Like there's a moment in the soundtrack and thus in the film as well where Emma Stone somewhat, I don't want to say breaks character, but she breaks from the song and she chuckles and she laughs and she just, you can sense her just being in the moment and having fun. And I love the authenticity of that. Doesn't feel manufactured. It doesn't feel rehearsed. It's the thesis of the film, but also relationally something that I find extremely relatable. And I really love it. And I love the song itself. I think is also really good. So that is my pick here at number 5.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention for me. And for a movie that is known for its bigness and its extravagance, some of its best moments are the ones that are a bit softer.
Kind of those quiet, tender moments,
I think those are my favorite moments of the movie because they sort of recontextualize the first half in a lot of ways.
Yeah, deeply love it. So that is my pick for number 5. All right, Brendan, what do you got at number 4?
Number 4, this is one I'm kind of proud of for having on my list because I think it is a pretty inspired pick. I sort of thought of it at the last minute, but it's a movie I loved as a kid. I'm going back to the year 1979. I'm going to the Muppet movie and the song "Moving Right Along," performed by Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear on their road trip.
I saw this
to
out on a list actually. Doing some.
Oh, you did?
homework.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's out there. Someone else has thought of it. I can't take ownership for it, unfortunately. But I used to love this song as a kid. There's a lot about it that made me laugh. The whole fork in the road bit always gave me a chuckle as a kid. But it has always stayed with me as a very catchy tune. But I think the thing that has stayed with me the most is that there's something about the way it's performed, two great new friends on the road together, and the urge to just sing with each other through a shared love of music. And that's kind of a common theme when you're on a road trip with one of your best friends. You kind of have like that urge to do something like that, is just sing together. At least I have. So I think in a way, this movie kind of speaks to almost like a universal truth of what it's like to road trip. And I think for those reasons, I think there is something kind of predictive about this pick in a way. I think there's something very sweet and tender about that, on top of it just being a very catchy tune. So this is a very nostalgic pick for me, but it's always one I've loved.
Yeah, that's really great stuff. Like I said, I did see it as mentioned on that one list, but I have not seen that film in a long time. I certainly could not speak to that moment.
Moving right along.
But I do remember liking the film quite a bit, though. And
It's a cute movie.
Maybe something I can catch up with.
The Muppets rule.
Sam
The
and
Muppet
kids.
The Muppets should absolutely be the ones hosting the Oscars.
Yeah, generally I love the Muppets. I know you've been harping on that for years now.
Again, not
Needs to
something I can take credit for. I forget what film critic it was, but there was one film critic like as long ago as like 10 years ago, claiming that the Muppets should be the ones hosting the Oscars, and I was like, that is the most brilliant suggestion I've ever seen.
Yeah, maybe we'll get it one of these days. Who knows?
I hope so.
Especially if comedians keep dropping out. Although I presume Conan's
Or-
coming back. but
or
who
or
knows?
getting canceled.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 4 for me, I'm going to one of my favorite films from 2001. I'm going to go with the Elephant Love Medley from Moulin Rouge. And
Yep.
I again love this. There's a couple of great options with this film as well. I think what I love about the Love Medley is the obvious dichotomy at play with Christian and Satine. Christian believing in love in this earnest, passionate way. Satine is jaded and guarded. So the medley becomes this tug of war throughout the sequence. And I find it very funny. It's earnest. It's just sensational on how those two performers battle each other through this hyper stylized, emotional teetering that we see as that medley goes on. And it's just a ton of fun, especially when you couple that general idea with Baz Luhrmann's, extravagance, which I
With
just
his
love.
style. Yeah.
I just love his style, love his extravagance. Moulin Rouge, certainly quintessential of that. And I just find it to be a lot of fun. Even further when you couple that with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman's performances are just phenomenal in that movie.
I think it's kind of funny nowadays when you look at Moulin Rouge and compare it to what Baz Luhrmann has done recently in movies like even Elvis, and Moulin Rouge seems kind of weirdly restrained by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is another good pick, another great honorable mention of mine. But you're right. There are a few duets that you can pick from this movie. I feel like the one that most people might go towards is Come What May. But I like what you had to say about going with this medley because it captures a different tone and in many ways kind of feels like an aesthetic summation of what the movie is going for.
Yeah, exactly. And like I saw that pick on some other list, and I do really like it. It's a great honorable mention. In fact, I've had that scene on other top fives before.
Sure.
Come what may, it's great. I deeply love it. But when we're talking about duets, there's something about that specific dichotomy that, like, in terms of the duet of it and how it is emphasizing these two characters, how they're approaching love in different ways. And again, through that lens of Baz Luhrmann, I just find it so elegant and dazzling, and I just deeply love it. So
Yep. It's good stuff.
just one that stood out to me a little bit more here. So that is my number 4. All right, what do you got at number 3?
My number 3, going all the way back to the year 1963 from director Robert Wise, going with The Sound of Music. The song Something Good, as performed by the Captain and Maria, Christopher Plummer, and Julie Andrews, respectively.
Yeah, this is a good honorable mention. I do have this written down as an honorable mention for me.
Gotcha. And I guess this is my quote-unquote romantic pick of my top 5, even though my pick for Beauty and the Beast was also a very romantic musical number. But I feel like this pick is maybe more defining of what it means to be romantic in a musical in some way. And what I love about this is that it's not just a romantic connection between two people in the most literal sense, but what makes it great is the captain's arc leading up to this lovely duet. A man who must learn to love both himself and his family again, and the recognition that Maria was the one that brought that out of him. Like the musical number itself is just this cherry on top of a great character arc. And it's a beautiful number. I love the duet that actually forms between the two of them. But I love the way it's maneuvered within this story. That's also in part with the source material, also with the movie. I think the way it all just comes together is quite beautiful.
Yeah, I deeply love it as well. We recently talked about The Sound of Music back in the spring, I believe it was.
Our 1960s Best Picture movie series.
Yeah.
That's right.
And man, I fell in love with that movie again, like I had watched it for the first time. Like
Masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of a movie,
absolute masterpiece for sure. I had not seen the film in years before that rewatch back in the spring, and I fell deeply in love with it all over again. And that scene that you're talking about, that specific duet is really good. Love the romanticism of it. I echo everything that you had to say there. So do really love that. For my number 3, going with another recent pick. Again, I know I'm missing a lot of scenes and duets, I'm sure. But still, I love this. Deeply love this scene, love this duet. Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? You know, a little shallow. A little shallow for my number 3. I do really love this movie.
And watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground.
Exactly. Keep going, Brennan. Well, that'll just be my talking point here. Is just
I'm
you
done.
singing.
I'm done. Love a lot of the songs from this movie. Some of my favorite modern country artists actually were producers and songwriters on this soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
I really, really like this movie a lot. And it's been lingering with me more as I sit on it. It's still not my favorite movie of that year, but I am liking it more as time goes on. And there's something about that dynamic of Jackson and Allie and the evolution of that as the film goes that I find deeply poignant, obviously, given where it goes. But that opening duet there, it is really fun. I love the number. I understand why it's played everywhere still, even to this day. In fact, most recently, about 3 weeks ago, perhaps, sitting down to go get my hair cut, and as I'm sitting in the seat, Shallow starts playing. Thank you, A Star Is Born, for giving me something to sing to as I get my hair cut. Yeah.
Are you happy in this modern world?
Yeah. Really, really love it.
That's a hook. It's a hook right there, man.
It's a great hook. Like Lady Gaga's great. And Bradley Cooper, I love, I can't explain it in music terms. I don't know how to articulate it in music terms, but there is something about Bradley Cooper's register and how he sings those early songs, especially to give credence to the character as this great country artist, rock artist. And then you inject Allie into it to formulate something somewhat new. And I think that's partially why that sequence stands out. And it's really great. Love it a lot. Shallow, my number 3.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper, I don't know if this is a hot take because I don't mean to undermine his talents as a director on this movie. I think he directs the hell out of the movie, but I think his performance is the thing that he is best at when it comes to this movie. And a lot of it is the musical side of it. You talked about what he's doing as a performer, as a country artist, and what it is that makes him so captivating because there is a rawness to it. It's no coincidence that one of my favorite artists working today, who was also on this soundtrack participating in the writing process, is Jason Isbell and his band Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. There was a point where his then wife, Amanda Shires, played fiddle and backing vocals for him. And if you listen to some of their songs from let's say 2017, you kind of hear a similar blend that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are going for in this movie. Jason Isbell was a songwriter on some of the songs for the movie. So they're capturing that kind of Americana, kind of rootsy country soul vibes that really have nothing to do with country pop that just takes over the radio waves, which is not my thing.
Sure.
This is going for what honest country music is all about. And it's absolutely great.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with all that and was not fully aware of some of those details there. That's really quite interesting.
So if you want a good comp, listen to a song called If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, and you'll get some similar vibes.
Yeah, when I think about Shallow, I definitely think about vampires. So that makes sense.
They are far from the shallow now.
Indeed. All right, what do you got at number 2?
This will be no surprise to you, JD. My number 2 is from the year 1964. I'm going with The Umbrellas of Cherbourg from Jacques Demy. My anti-romantic pick, I guess you can say. Now, I knew I wanted to go with something from this movie, but this was actually pretty difficult because in some ways the entire movie is kind of a duet. Just
Sure.
given the way it's structured, it's all sung through, and the majority of it is just it's a singing conversation between two people in each scene. So if I were to pick a moment just for the purposes of this exercise, I'll go with the moment that Guy, played by Nino Castronovo, is drafted to serve in the Algerian War, and the musical exchange that he and Genevieve have before they consummate their love, I'll simply say. Obviously, the song that they're singing is the classic theme called I Will Wait for You from Michel Legrand. And what I love about this sequence and this song and just the lyricism of this particular moment is that I think it's one of the best examples of ignorant lovers that I've seen in movies. Arguably, people that are really in love with each other, but perhaps too young to realize how difficult this is going to be for them. And I think it captures the realism of that in such an extravagant way. There's a line that Genevieve at one point sings, how they'll be away for 2 years. How will I ever manage? She says, and she doesn't realize the challenge that is going to be. And I think it accurately recognizes that 2 years is kind of a lifetime for young lovers. Like that's a lot can change there, and they don't realize it. On top of those notions that make it very timely and worthwhile for me, there are days I think this might be my all-time favorite movie score ever. And I think that's ultimately why I felt like I needed to at least include it here, even though it is something I've talked about a lot on this podcast. It might be a film I need to finally put in the penalty box, but I think for the purposes of this exercise, I needed to at least, recycle it one last time.
No, I deeply love this as well. This is a great honorable mention for me. I, in full transparency, did not think about The Umbrellas of Cherbourg because, again, time got the best of me earlier today. So I did not really think about The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. If I had, this probably, or some number from this film would have made my list. But man, do I love that moment. Do really love that moment. There is something about the ache of loving someone that you might not, probably won't be able to keep or be with forever, that sequence certainly taps into in these just incredibly engrossing ways. It's fantastic. Yeah, deeply love that for sure. Great moment. All right, number 2, and this came to me for a couple of reasons, and it somewhat encompasses a lot of what we've been talking about in recent weeks. And by that, I mean this even more specifically. This comes from a film I talked about last week. So forgive the redundancy. But some of the passion that was talked about last week is also inspiring me to talk about it again this week. Especially because, circling it back to the beginning of this show, I saw this on Stingray.
Of course you did.
Stingray special.
Of course it was.
Saw this on Stingray. So again, one of these great serendipitous moments, because I'm pretty sure I saw this before we had formulated this top 5 idea. You were meant for me, Singing in the Rain. So I'm going back to the Singing in the Rain well here. And again,
for me,
thinking about what I saw on Stingray, and I also went back and I watched this scene on YouTube a couple of different times earlier today. And again, this does tie to what I talked about last week, but I think it's worth repeating, especially off the heels of what we just talked about with Moana and the bleak future of the current Hollywood system. You go back and watch this movie and you watch this scene. It is truly mind-boggling what movies used to look like. It seems rudimentary. It seems almost offensive to say. And look, films still look great today. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Not as often.
as often, especially the Hollywood system. I'm not talking about the Neons of the world. I'm not talking about the A24s of the world or any of the international art houses and those great studios. I'm not talking about them. Obviously, they deliver great stuff all of the time. I'm talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about American movies that used to dazzle you with these gigantic set pieces full of vivid color and romanticism as two characters would sing and dance together in front of a camera.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable what movies used to look like. Singing in the Rain. I'm telling you, I know I talked about this last week as well, but my God, it is one of the most evocative Lush movies you will see, especially when you consider the choreography of it all, how everything is in frame. You get these great wide shots, and because it's movies about movies, so much of this is taking place within like a stage, like it's near a stage for them to film a movie.
Right.
And you get all of those great movie things in the background, and it's just lit to perfection. The lighting is exquisite. The cinematography is evocative. The number itself, the performers, the way they sing the song, it's ravishing. Everything about it is just pure perfection. And again, I'm watching this on Stingray earlier in the week, and I almost melted. Like why? Like, is it that hard? Or like, is the Hollywood system just that lazy now? Do they genuinely not know how to make movies like that anymore?
Like, if you saw this for the first time back in 1952 when it first came out, would your reaction be, "Is this even legal?"
I mean, maybe. And that's why, like, I know La La Land gets a lot of crap for essentially mimicking Umbrellas and the singing of the rains of the world. But in the context of what movies are today, I have to appreciate that. Like, the studios just don't make La La Lands all that often.
There's so much about La La Land that I don't want to get too sidetracked talking about La La Land, but at the same time, there's so much about how the musical numbers are captured in that movie. And this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but La La Land doesn't quite have the complexity of movies like Singing in the Rain or even The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Like that choreographed sequence of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone singing to a song called A Lovely Night over top of the hills of LA. The choreography is actually kind of simple, and they're not even perfectly in sync with each other. It actually looks kind of flawed, which is something I love about it. There's a rawness to it. There's an almost guerrilla kind of style to it, but it's all lingering, all in camera, and it just proves that movies used to be made in a way that was practical, like it was treating the stage as a stage, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing we're missing.
And no, I agree. I love the attempt. I don't care that it's trying to mimic musicals of yesteryear. I love that it's trying to bring that back. It's trying to bring that spirit into the modern age, and we just never see it. And again, say what you will about La La Land, but the colors are vivid. They pop off the screen. Everything is in camera. The characters are at least attempting to choreograph something that you would see in Umbrellas and Singing in the Rain. I love the attempt.
I don't even know if I'd call it an attempt. It actually feels like a deliberate choice to keep things more grounded and simplified by comparison, which I actually kind of like.
And I agree with that. I don't think it's the most sophisticated choreography in the world, but I still find it charming and lovely. And I think it's very effective for what that film is trying to accomplish. I think it's really, really great. And again, we just don't see that all that often anymore. But yeah, I mean, Umbrellas is a great, great example to everything I'm talking about as well. I mean, you can just interchange Umbrellas and Singing in the Rain for the argument I'm trying to make here. But yeah, I mean, anyway, I saw that seeing earlier this week from Singing in the Rain, and I saw clips last week leading into that top 5, and it's simple. I feel like I shouldn't be this impressed, but movies have changed. And again, like, I'm not trying to be cynical, because I think there are a lot of great movies that we see each and every year.
I don't know. Disney makes us cynical these days.
Yeah, I'm really mostly talking about the American studio system, the major studios. That's primarily why, where that cynicism is coming from. And
yeah, agreed.
look, I think there's a lot of reason to be cynical about those studios and a lot of the choices they're making. So
I agree.
Anyway, Singing in the Rain, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous movie. All right, what do you got at number 1?
For my number 1, I'm going to transition to get us out of this whole cynical rabbit hole that we sometimes find ourselves in. I wouldn't be surprised if this is also your number 1. And I think this is another film that we just have to penalty box. We've talked about this movie so many times, but when I think of a duet in a movie, I automatically just instinctually go to Falling Slowly from Once.
Yeah. It's really funny because in my notes I have Falling Slowly ? Am I allowed to have this?
Well, I'm allowing it because I have it at number 1.
Okay, fair enough. Because I had this also on a top 5 recently, I want to say.
Yeah, I
I'd
forget
have
what
to
the
go-
topic was. We'd have to go back through the archives.
I'd have to go look, but I mean, you can talk about it and I'll go look, but I'm fairly certain I've also talked about this recently. That's another reason I have it as a question mark.
So it's not your number 1. It's not on your list.
Well, no, it is. I have it at number 1, but again,
you
with the
do?
question
Okay.
mark of, am I allowed to have this?
I
Not just
did-
because it's brought up often here on the show, but I'm fairly certain I've had this on a list within the last month.
Okay. Well, I have it at number 1 because, like I said, when I think of duets, musical duets specifically in movies, I automatically go to this one. And a lot of it is probably because I'm a musician. And I think about the musical chemistry between Glenn Hansard and Marketa Irglova, not just in this movie, but particularly in this moment where he is teaching her one of his songs. And she picks up on it pretty instantaneously to the point that a general moviegoer might think that is very unrealistic. But I can tell you as a musician, if you know your music, that is not unrealistic at all, especially if you have a musical chemistry with someone that can absolutely be immediate. I've had that happen before.
Yeah.
Part of what I love about this is that it gets into a musical concept that very much illustrates their relationship. It's all about harmony. It's very harmonious. And instinctually, she is able to sing like perfect thirds and fifths and interesting augmented chords over top of his vocal melody, and she's able to find those rapidly. And that synergy without any practice whatsoever is what I love about this sequence. And I do think it's genuine not in the sense that it's genuine because of their camaraderie. It's genuine because this is something that real talented musicians can pull off. And I think it's wonderful, to the point that even the store clerk in the moment cannot help but acknowledge, yeah, this is actually pretty good. I love that little subtle touch. So very harmonious. I love it.
Yeah, I deeply, deeply love this movie. Love this pick. I do want to bring clarity that on episode 657, this was early October. It is November 18th. So
That
about
was
a month and a half
ago.
For top 5 movie soundtracks, I did include this movie.
Okay.
So it was on a top 5 for me somewhat recently. That again, that's another reason I pause. But if I'm allowed to have it, then yes,
you're allowed.
Easily my number 1 here.
You're allowed. This is not a case of putting movies into our top 5 list too quickly or too close to each other. We just happen to coincidentally have quite a few topics that are kind of similar, and they allow room for movies like this to show up frequently. So I think that's really just the case. We just happened to do something music related a month and a half ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't help myself. I love Once so much. I think the soundtrack is great. I've specifically talked about Falling Slowly at least a couple of times.
Yeah.
I haven't gone through the archives fully to count out. I need to do a tally at some point. I'm just going to have to do the work
Yeah.
because Falling Slowly's probably been on at least 5 or 6 top 5s, I would guess. It's
sure.
been featured quite a bit.
For sure.
I love it for all those reasons. I deeply, deeply love that scene. One of my favorite scenes from 2007, and I really don't have too much to add to what you said. I love that dynamic. I love the song. I love the harmonies of it. It's just spectacular. And again, I love the simplicity of it.
Yep.
It's not a spectacle. It's just two people discovering each other through music. It's just so good. I will say though, I had a backup here at number 1 that I want to mention here real quick if Falling Slowly wasn't allowed. But since it is, I'm going to keep Falling Slowly. But if I wasn't allowed to have Falling Slowly, my backup number 1 would have been from a film that I find immensely underrated. And that is Cyrano from a few years ago. The track I Need More, I think, is an incredible banger.
That's
and
an
this
inspired
is
pick.
a duet between Roxanne and Christian, and it is really, really fantastic. I've joked with Brendan before. I think this track and the track Every Letter, those two are so good. I have literally used them as hype up songs as I prep for some of my beer league hockey games. Like, I think they're that good. Listening to that in a locker room full of guys getting ready to go play hockey. That's me. That's me listening to Cyrano before a hockey game. I love those tracks. So that would have been my backup if I wasn't allowed Falling Slowly.
Well, I will allow Falling Slowly, but I think maybe going forward we should finally penalty box this one.
That's fine. That just gives me more of an excuse to talk about Cyrano moving forward.
That's an inspired pick, though. Yeah, that's a very inspired pick there.
So be on the lookout for more Cyrano praise coming from me next time.
Yep,
on
absolutely.
The next show.
Absolutely, man.
Do really love that movie as well. Honorable mentions? Anything else you want to touch on here?
Let's see. My number 6, if I were to extend it out to at least a top 6, may have been Tonight from West Side Story. I guess I would specifically go with the 1961 film, even though I like the direction and the overall choreography and the camera movements of Spielberg's film. That one just sadly has Ansel Elgort sucking the life out of the song. So I like the performative energy of the 1961 rendition. Let's see, what else? Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors would be close to that as well. There are a lot of duets from the movie Grease.
Yeah.
I don't like Grease all that much, so I didn't really consider that. I think the best song from Grease is the Frankie Valli opening theme song. So
gotcha.
I guess it just goes to show my relationship to that movie and that I'm just not much of a Grease head. So
you're the one that I want is probably the most notable, maybe.
Yeah, but even that one, for at least much of the choruses, there's a huge ensemble backing them up. So it kind of gets back into that gray area for me, even though it is primarily driven by, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, Grease was a movie I thought about because I know that there are a few other examples you can probably cite as a duet, but it's never a movie that really grabbed me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. As far as some other honorable mentions, and I don't have too many here. Again, I ran out of time, but a few to note here. Lovely Night, La La Land. I mentioned that earlier. Come What May, Moulin Rouge. We talked about that earlier as well. Good Morning from Singing in the Rain. I think is really fun. Brendan, can you feel the love tonight?
Well,
Are you feeling the love?
I thought about that one. Yeah,
that's a really good honorable mention for me as well. Specifically the animated film. Get that nonsense from the live action out of here.
Yeah, because it's actually supposed to be at night.
Yeah. No, in the animated film, I think it's genuinely romantic and moving. I really like it a lot. How about, and this is again one of those, wait, what? Songs, and in the sense that people probably forget about this one. But I look forward to this being on Stingray because this was on my movie music playlist, which they stole for that channel. So get ready to watch Fallen and Flying from Crazy Heart. I think it's a really fun song. Really fun song. The next 10 minutes from the last 5 years from 2014, the Anna Kendrick film, again, that a lot of people didn't see.
Oh, I forgot about that
one.
one.
Was really good. The Skeleton Twins has a few that's really good.
Forgot about
Kristen
that too.
Wiig, Bill Hader.
That's a pretty inspired one. That's pretty inspired. Yeah.
Here's my cheat pick in my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Inside Llewyn Davis. There's actually a few here, I guess, if we wanted to really use Beauty and the Beast as kind of our loophole trigger. But the one I'm going to do here is Fare Thee Well. Maybe the soundtrack version specifically, because what we hear in the film are there are two people, right? It's Llewyn Davis and his partner, which on the soundtrack is Marcus Mumford. So even though in the film, Llewyn is obviously alone when he sings the song. But technically, the spirit of his partner is kind of there, and on the soundtrack version,
you're right.
Marcus Mumford does duet with him on that song.
You're right. The ghost of his partner is kind of lingering in that performance. So I'll give you that one. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I tried. I could have shoehorned into my top 5 as well.
I'm just glad you somehow didn't try to argue for something like "Please, Mr. Kennedy" and maybe
you could in the sense that Adam Driver is an alien from another planet, so he's not even singing. Real people. So. That's true.
It's a duet because only 2 of the characters are actually singing notes.
Exactly. So yeah,
but Adam Driver kind of counts as like 7 people in that performance.
Just so good, so good.
Outer space.
It's the best, the absolute best. Anyway, that's all the honorable mentions that I had.
I still think the best thing that Adam Driver does during that performance is right at the end. And for those watching on YouTube, you'll see what I'm doing here. But he ends by just saying, "Please, Mr. Kennedy," over and over again. But he kind of tilts his body back and forth. "Please, Mr. Kennedy. Please, Mr. Kennedy."
Oh, it's the best. I love that movie so much. Oh, man. We're going to have to do an Inside Llewyn Davis watch along.
Oh, commentary. Yeah, I think we'd have to.
We're going to have to do a commentary.
That's definitely one of those movies that requires one from us.
Once we get through award season, we're going to have to find a Friday night or something and do that, because that would be a lot of fun. All right. If you agree or disagree with anything we had to say here, you can leave a comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, reach out to us on social media at InSession Film. You can email us InSessionFilm@gmail.com. As always, be sure to subscribe to the show, no matter how you're watching or listening to us. If you're on YouTube, again, like the video. We would really, really appreciate all of that. Apple Podcasts, you can leave reviews there. That really helps out the show as well. If you want to do that, we would really, really appreciate it. As I noted at the top of the show, we have 2 reviews this week, at the very least, maybe 3. Hamnet and Novel Vogue is available right now. Predator Badlands is hopefully on the way soon. Also, New Chasing the Gold, New Women in Session at the end of the week. Anything else, Brennan? Am I forgetting anything?
Oh, we're about to get Wicked this weekend, aren't we?
Going to get a little Wicked? Yep, I have seen the Wicked, for good or for worse.
Are you mourning the Wicked?
I am pleading the 5th at the current moment. I will say I took Sam, and Sam really liked it a lot. It was really fun because he hasn't seen part 1. He just wanted to go hang out, and he was he was wearing his brand new slippers that he's got. Like they're Grinch themed, so they're like kind of fluffy
cool.
and hairy. And that's what he wore to the theater and got lots of compliments. People loved his Grinch slippers.
That's cute.
But yeah.
That is cute.
But he really enjoyed it. I was surprised that he wanted to go for a couple of reasons. Again, not just because he hasn't seen part one, but also my wife, Brandy, is a huge Wicked fan. And she loved part one. And I would have taken her if Sam didn't go. And I think he just wanted to go. Honestly, I think he just wanted to hang out.
He just wanted a night with his dad. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, a little bit of FOMO. I think he would have maybe felt like he was missing out if me and Brandy were both gone.
Yeah, it makes
sense. So he just wanted to participate. So yeah, he just wanted to hang out.
Yeah,
and look, sense. I don't mind that at all. I love getting to hang out with him. So it was a great time. Just the experience of it. We'll talk about the movie this weekend, though.
Absolutely.
With that said, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some Wicked coming this weekend. We'll see you all next time on the InSession Film Podcast.